Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Stevie thinks he's dreaming after today's result at Old Trafford. So we've got Stevie Nicol here with us. We've got Frank Leboeuf and Don Hutchison joining us too. And you can imagine what a lot of the questions are about today. So let's get started, will we? Stevie, will Manchester United finish in the top four?
Ooh. If they make a change now, yes. If they don't, no.
All right. If they make a change now, yes. If they don't, no. Frank, would you agree with that sentiment?
I totally agree with Stevie. They really have to move on something else because otherwise they're going to go through a disaster.
This is Don's face right now. Right on.
Well, I mean, 3 weeks ago, we all had them being in a title race. Now they're not even in the top four. They've got Tottenham next and then Man City. Ouch.
What percentage chance then, Don?
I'd still give them a 70-30 chance, Kay.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
I know, but are we not being emotional because they got battered today, though?
Well, they've only got 3 wins in the last 9.
They've
only got 3 wins in the last 9.
We were politically correct.
Frank, you were politically correct. You're just being nice then. You don't need to be nice. It's extra time.
Yeah, we were politically correct when we were talking about Manchester United, but where we were talking off, you know, we all agreed, and people have to know the truth, that we nobody believed that Manchester United could cope with Liverpool, Manchester City, or maybe Chelsea. You know, because they signed fantastic players, everybody thought, and we all talk about Ronaldo and Varane, that they thought that something different will happen. But they still have the same problem. They don't have a project. Tactically, comparing to the others, there is no project. When they don't have the ball, and Stevie mentioned that, or even when they have the ball, they just count on the talent of the players, not on the tactic and on
who
the
do the
real
guys
thoughts.
think is... So, Kay, who do the guys think is going to finish fourth then? Who's better than Man United?
Well, you saw Leicester last week, and Leicester haven't had the best of starts. They're beginning to get into a bit of a stride, and they annihilated them last week. And look at the table.
And I can't believe Don's going, who's going to finish fourth? And West Ham are there, and he's not even backing them.
You got West Ham. I mean,
I tried to back them, but I think Frank was right. You know, we're not quite there yet. We're just off. I still think Man U, when you look at that little group of teams and you go Tottenham, Arsenal, West Ham, Leicester, Everton, I still think Man U are the best of that bunch, just.
Don's just still sore from that prediction a couple of years ago when he said West Ham would be top four. He's learned from his mistakes and he's being careful and conservative with what he's saying now.
I've been so close.
Don, as you know, never say anything in this show because they always throw it at you.
We remember everything.
I know how you feel.
Like an elephant. All right, Frank, how much does Ronaldo regret not going to City now?
Oh.
I think he has no regrets whatsoever. You know, he's a kid of Manchester United, and I think deeply he didn't want to go to City. I don't know. If he thought that he could win the Champions League because that was his goal, he said, I want to win the Champions League again. If he thought he was ready to win the Champions League signing for Manchester United, I think he had bad backups from some people, you know, who tried to tell him that was a good idea. Clearly, Manchester United is not ready to win the Champions League.
Detective Don has some inside info here, though. Is that right, Don?
Do I?
I don't know. About why this did or didn't materialise, maybe?
Well, I mean, I was hearing that I think Mendes was on a Zoom call, with Guardiola and the chief executive talking about, I think, Edison, Jesus, and I think Fernandinho's new contracts. And then he dropped it in right at the end, by the way, do you want Ronaldo? And Pep was a little bit shocked and thought, okay, let's try and get that done. Then City went a bit cold. And then what I'm hearing is Sir Alex rang the Glazers and said, you better get Ronaldo signed, because if you allow him to go to Man City, you guys might be finished in Manchester.
What a gossip. What a gossip.
Proper gossip, innit? I know.
Just spilling the tea all
Good-
over
good gossip.
ESPNFC.
Oh, Messi
Good gossip,
said that
it's
to me
true.
as well.
All right.
What do you have?
Stevie, how do you rate Ibrahima Konate's performance today?
He's a little raw still. You know, if somebody could sit Van Dijk and him down together and Van Dijk would tell him how you do things, it would be perfect. Because there was a scenario where Rashford had just walked past Alexander Arnold and created an opportunity for Ronaldo, I think it was. And then 2 minutes later, Rashford took on Van Dijk in the box, and Van Dijk just stood there. And it was kind of like everything stopped. And you could almost sense Van Dijk going, well, you know what? See, all the best going past me, and try and do that to me that you just did to Alexander Arnold. And Rashford just kind of stopped in his boots. Whereas Konate, for me, he's a little bit desperate to make a challenge. You know, making a challenge is really the last resort on most places on the field. You know, you want to avoid making challenges. You want to be in a better position where you can intercept it. Or you know, it's all about decision making. He just looks a little raw, and he wants to show that he's big and strong and he can make challenges. But he had a good game.
Steve,
but tell you, he needs to watch the guy standing next to him.
Frank?
I think it's not fair. I think it's not fair to compare anybody with Van Dijk. Van Dijk is unique and he's absolutely exceptional. You should compare Konate with maybe Matip or Gomez if you want to make a clear comparison and a fair one. And I think for a first big game that he had to play for Liverpool, he did very well and cope with the situation very well for me. So
Yeah,
very encouraging. I think the Scottish have to stop thinking that the French are not good, and they have to think that we back them up at a certain point against the English. So they shouldn't
Frank,
forget
right.
that.
No, Frank, you're right. It's probably a little unfair. I wasn't meaning to put them together as a, you know, one against the other. I was just saying maybe if they sat down and Van Dijk could talk to the young guy and point out some things that he may have done wrong and that he in the same situation did right, and that would help Konate. So I wasn't really trying to compare them.
It was like the school report, could do better.
Yeah.
Promising now?
Did well.
You saw promise there?
Yes.
Okay.
Did well, but could do better. Yeah.
All right, Frank, let's talk about another defender then.
Yeah.
Since his move to United, has Maguire justified his status as the world's most expensive defender, undroppable, and club captain within 6 months? 9 goals from the last 3 games alone, including all 5 today, have come down his side.
Now that's appalling, and it's in a way it's very sad. You know, there isn't a union of central defenders like there is one on the keepers. But you know, when I first saw Maguire, he was playing as a midfielder when he played for the national team. Then I saw him play for Leicester, and I think it was encouraging performances. But when I saw him signing for 80-something million, I was very surprised. But it's a deal that you have when you have an English player playing for an English club and going to another English club. I don't know that kind of price and why those deals are so important, but it's what happened when you have those kind of deals. But Maguire is a big boy, is a slow defender, and people, they start knowing him and they know how to handle with him. And on top of it, he just came back from an injury. He only played 2 games. He had a no-polling game, horrendous game against Leicester. But that was an excuse because he was just coming back. But today, that was horrible. I really wonder why Bailly doesn't play. They don't want to play Lindelof anymore. They signed a new contract to Bailly. Why they don't try him? Why they don't play 3 at the back with Maguire, you know, maybe playing a little bit like a sweeper, I don't know. Try to find something else because the guy is lost. He can't cope with the pace of most strikers, and that's sad for him. I feel sad when I see a defender not coping with the others, being in the middle of nowhere. I feel sad.
All right, Frank, I'm sticking with you for the next one. Is there any chance Pogba is a Man United player next season? He always seems to be linked to a move away from the club and he never leaves.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know what's going on. And, seeing that he didn't start today for the most important game of the season for Manchester United made me think that's maybe the end of something for Paul Pogba. I think he must be very upset. He was frustrated. This way maybe he was red carded, sorry. And I think if Manchester United carries on like that, playing like that, I think he's going to go.
Premier League insider, Detective Don, can you shed any light on this situation?
I can't shed any light. I will make some calls. I'll investigate. But when you get dropped, Kane,
we need some gossips.
I'll find some, Frank. I'll find some. I'll make some calls. But when you get dropped in this sort of game, that hurts your pride. That dents your ego. You'll be on the phone, or he'll be on the phone to his agent going, what's happening at PSG? What's happening at Real Madrid? Is there any gossip? What's happening at Juventus? Is there a way back? He won't be happy with that. And depending on who the new United manager might be, might tell us whether Pogba's staying on or not. But I think highly unlikely he stays on.
And then Don will tell us, you didn't hear it from me, but don't tell anyone this, but. All right.
I would love to have been in the room when Ollie said, Paul, can I have a word? How do you turn around to Paul Pogba and say, you're not starting, you're going to be on the bench? And the guy doesn't go ballistic?
You're not starting again.
Any proper player I've ever played with, in a situation like this, the biggest game of the season, you're the biggest earner, you're supposed to be the guy, particularly in the middle of the park, and the manager goes, yeah, I'm not going to start you today. Surely you go mental. And you clearly
that's
go
why
home.
I got sent off.
And I think Dom was being kind. You call Mendes and go, by the way, just to let you know, get me out of here as quick as you can. I've had enough.
Don, we want some inside info on the next edition.
What?
All right, Don.
Right. I think his agent is Raiola. It's not Mendes, but I'm not sure.
Mino Raiola. Yes, you are right. It is Mino Raiola.
Yeah.
Oops.
Don, what's more embarrassing? Barca losing 4 Clásicos in a row for the first time since 1936. United getting thrashed by their fiercest rivals in their own backyard, 5-0. Or Everton conceding a hat-trick against Josh King at Goodison.
I think I'd have to lean towards Everton. I mean, they got mullered against West Ham last week, and that was a proper eye-opener. Declan Rice was just amazing against Decore. It was a brilliant battle. But you show me anyone that forecasted Watford would go to Goodison Park and score 5. I could not grasp that one.
Dan, the worst is Liverpool won 5-0 against Watford last week away from home, and Everton loses 5-2 against. So it means that you're going to lose 10-0 against Liverpool in the next game you play against them.
That's good man maths, that, Frank. I like that.
Yeah, don't be taking the mathematician work. That's Don's, Detective Don. Just he has many faces. All right.
Yeah.
Stevie, last question for you. Ale mentioned the other day that if you were both playing in today's game over 90 minutes, he could get you booked and possibly thrown out using his talent for drawing fouls.
Oh, not a chance.
What would happen in your opinion?
Not a chance in a million years.
Goodness.
Not a chance in a million years. Any good defender can suss him out in 2 seconds. He wants to feel you. So you stay away. And he's too busy trying to hold on to you or feel you that his control wasn't particularly fantastic either. So you just stay close enough without touching him that when it bounces off, you nip in and take it away. And then you go like that when he's lying on the ground, not getting a foul. Nah. Take that.
Well, he was very, very confident, but I will say that he could have done that, but I guess not.
Easy peasy.